Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Sion Jenkins body language analysis done by myself, CJB. So I've had quite a few hits on Facebook and YouTube about this video. So I'm going to analyze little bits for you now, and you can make your own mind up on what you think of my analysis. So let's start at the beginning of the interview. It's been fast forwarded for 3 or 4 minutes just so we can get to where Sean is answering questions by Trevor McDonald. So let's start at the beginning. So here we go.
She was taken in by Sion and Lois Jenkins.
So that's Billie Joe Jenkins there.
Daughters of their own.
Family footage of her. So with this question, asking about memories.
What are your memories of Billie Joe? Well, she was lovely, and we enjoyed every minute that she was with us. Wonderful.
Not a good start. When we're talking about someone we love, we would never pause and think. We would just deliver it straight away. If you were talking about a loved one that you'd lost or they died or passed on, you wouldn't pause. You would just continue the conversation. You would highlight key areas of what made that person great because you're discussing their memories. You would never pause and say, You would never do that. So listen again.
And at the age of 9, went into foster
When we've got a deep attraction and association with somebody,
a couple
we show that.
Had 4 daughters of their own.
Watch for the speech errors and the stammers.
Memories of
the lack of structure.
Well, she was lovely.
Pause.
And, we enjoyed every minute that she was with us.
Not a good start. Doesn't show confidence yet, does it? Unfortunately.
Things that we've done together, play squash, go running, play tennis, and have enjoyable Christmases with her.
Enjoyable, but no facial expression to go alongside that. So we're not off to a good start here. Let's just fast forward this a slight touch to the next question where he's asked. Here we go. It's quite a long video, this, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to trim it down as much as I can. So, next question he's asked. So he's not off to a good start there. So we've already got speech errors. So the next question is about him as a suspect. So let's see what his responses are here, both verbally and non-verbally.
Clear to you that you were a suspect. I never for a moment said to myself, well, I might be a suspect. It never actually occurred to me at all. The thing that shocked me more than anything at the beginning, that anyone would actually think that I was capable of murdering Billie.
So what we've got there is a non-answer. He's implying the answer by saying that no one in their right minds would consider this man to be a murderer, but he never actually says anything apart from that. So he's implying, but nothing is direct. So he's skirting around the issue. So we can fast forward it a touch now. This is where it goes on to the reconstruction of the events, but we're not too keen on those. I just want to get back to the next bit of his next question, which is very interesting.
I announced to all of them that we were actually going, and I didn't actually want to go, but we left fairly soon and went off to get the White Spirit. So that's why you decided to go out again? Yes. But in court, it was suggested that you had some White Spirit in the house. Why did you need to go out again? Well, yes, and much was made.
That is called a false start. Remember what, if something's never happened, we have to try and create something in our mind. But what Sean might have to do here is have to think back to what he's actually told the police. It's no good him trying to recreate something new in his mind because it won't go along with his previous statements. So literally about the 3-second pause there
I didn't actually want to,
might have given him enough time to think about what he actually said to the police all those years ago.
But we left fairly soon and went off
Watch it again.
To get the White Spirit. So that's why you decided to go out again?
Here we go.
Yes. But in court, it was suggested that you had some White Spirit in the house.
Watch for the false start.
To go out again. Well, yes, and
struggling.
Much was made of that. I mean, the White.
And again, did you hear that gestural slip there? Okay, same thing happened on Jeremy Cow with that lady. She was just about to say, "I haven't got it on," but this guy just about to say something else, but he uses the wrong context completely.
But in court, it was
I'm sorry for Trevor stammering, by the way. So again, this is key. False start.
Much was made of that. I mean, the
Gestural
white
slip.
spirit we had was
Aye,
an
me.
old 3-year-old bottle.
Now then, emphasis
half full
on
at the
3.
back of the cupboard. And
Run that back again.
yes, and
Full
much
start.
was made of that. I mean,
Gestural
the
slip.
white spirit we had was in an old 3-year-old.
Now then, here's something you didn't know. Did you know that when we lie, we say 3? Did you know that? Here we are. Well, there's a whole section done on statement analysis and the number 3. Amazing, isn't it? When we tell lies, we automatically go to the number 3. Did you know that? And it's something to do with the 3 areas of the brain which engage when we're creating a story that's never happened. And it all goes down to that. Because when we tell a story, there's 3 parts. Especially when we're being interviewed by the police, there's the before, the during, and the after. So the before the incident, during the incident, and after the incident. And an honest story will start with 25% before, 50% in the middle, and 25% at the end. A deceptive story will have a longer introduction, the same middle part, but a smaller finish. So, let's see how we get on here.
Bottle, half full, at the back of the cupboard. And firstly, I didn't know it was there. And secondly, even if I had looked in the cupboard, I wouldn't have noticed it.
Interesting how he didn't know it was there, but he knew it was 3 years old. Now, again, it might have had a date on the bottle, we don't know, but there's not a lot there. If we look back, we're seeing flashes of anger. So this, to me, is a hot question.
Yeah, you need to go out again. Well, yes, and much was made of that. I mean, the white spirit we had was in an old 3-year-old bottle, half full, at the back of the cupboard. And firstly, I didn't know it was there. And secondly,
this is a hot question for the lick lips. I'm sure you've noticed it.
I wouldn't have noticed
the licking of the lips is massive.
Was suspicious for other reasons.
Here's a big one.
Firstly, Jenkins hadn't taken any money.
No money, and he took a very unusual route to the DIY place. So, let's see what his non-verbals and his things are here.
Much was made of the fact that you didn't go directly to the DIY shop. Why such a circuitous route?
It wasn't a circuitous route. I couldn't turn.
Pause. Straight away. If this had actually happened, you would have had direct emphasis on this because it is key to the investigation. Watch again for the paralinguistic areas, the pause, the massive pause to try and create something. Potentially.
DIY shop. Why such a circuitous route?
It wasn't a circuitous route. I couldn't
Pause.
turn around outside my house and go directly to the store because I couldn't do 3-point turns in the middle of the road because it was too dangerous.
Note how his voice style now has changed completely. We are now seeing flashes of anger. So this is a really hot question. One he's not really comfortable talking about.
I couldn't turn around outside my house and go directly to the store because I couldn't do 3-point turns in the middle of the road because it was too dangerous. So I had to go around the park. Now, the reason why I went a second time is that I did return home.
Not a good part of this bit.
En route,
gulp, gestural slip, mouth pause.
For Annie to start.
Here we go, gestural slip again there.
She said,
2-2.
To the store,
so there's no timing.
I couldn't do 3-point turns in the middle.
So what he's having to do here is create, potentially. He's having to create something.
Go around the park.
Because there's no timing.
Now the reason why I went a second time is that I did return home.
Mouth shrug, lick lip,
en route,
gulp.
I decided
there's no symmetry here. There's no timing. There's too many speech errors. Here another one, massive.
And she said, "Well, I am very keen to paint, and I'd already promised her that she could." And so I then said, "Okay, we'll drive there." And so I drove on for the White Spirit.
He forgot the White Spirit for the. So he forgot. He forgot what he was going for.
Promised her that she could, and so I then said, "Okay, we'll drive there."
So he forgot the White Spirit at the end. Is that significant?
For the White Spirit.
What do you think?
But it's like many things. It is totally innocent. But if you want me to be guilty, if you are looking for a conviction, you can take anything we do in life and put a different slant on it. But it was twisted. and it was then presented in what I believe in a quite a false light.
When you got to the DIY shop, you realized you had no money.
I had no money, yes.
Shrug.
So it was a pretty fruitless exercise anyway.
But it was a fruitless exercise. But of course the police said, right.
So he's using the police, not actually talking about what actually happened, which is interesting. So he's going back to being interrogated and interviewed by the police. They're not actually telling us what he did.
He went to do it all.
It's whether the police got the right bit right.
He wanted to provide a block of time.
Errors. Stuttering.
Where another suspect, somebody else, could come along to commit the murder. That's the reason they gave for it. But of course, it's a ludicrous argument. It doesn't hold up at all. You know, if anybody in that situation...
Here is key. This is where he potentially tells us how you could do it. How you could get away with murder. He tells us here. Listen to this.
Somebody else could come along to commit the murder. That's the reason they gave for it. But of course, it's a ludicrous argument. It doesn't hold up at all. You know, if anybody in that situation was designing a trip as a ruse, they would have gone in to do it all.
Here we go.
They would have looked around the store.
So he's trying to distance himself from what he actually did, but he's telling us, the audience, of how you might be able to get away with it if you went into the DIY store for about an hour. So he's not actually telling us what he did, what Trevor asked. He's actually telling us how, if we wanted to commit the murder or be an accessory to it, this is how you would do it.
For an hour even, and then gone back and provided a long period of time.
So how long were you away? Because it was during...
Here comes some speech errors and some gestural slips.
Billie Joe was killed.
I cannot be sure, to the minute.
Stuttering.
10 minutes was mentioned.
There you go. A hot question.
Depending on how fast or slowly one drives.
Now he's using one. He's not taking ownership. He's distancing himself by using language like one.
With your version of events, because you were asking them to believe that in that period of time, 10 minutes or so that you were away, a stranger broke into the back of your garden. He found Billie Joe. He found a murder weapon, killed her, and escaped with no one noticing a thing.
Yes. Well, I've never asked the police to believe anything. I have simply
looking at the lips,
that we
nervous, parasympathetic kicking him.
Trip, and we found
sympathetic, is it?
The police said to me, "So
speech
who
error.
did this murder?" And I don't know.
Distancing
I
language.
I only tell the police what I knew, and at that time, because of the shock and confusion, I was certainly not involved in speculating with the police.
It was on returning from that unsuccessful shopping trip.
Here we go. Watch this. I might as well just rip up my interrogation thing because I found actually the killer. And it's this lady here.
Dad! Dad! Billy's been hurt!
Did you notice the facial expression of that little girl then? I think we found the killer.
That the girls found Billie Joe.
Let's see if we can see my little girl.
Dad! Billy's been hurt!
What's wrong?
Did you see that? Goodness me. We found it. She's the killer.
Thank you. Go ahead, caller. Where do you need the ambulance?
48 Lower Park Road.
Lower Park Road.
Lower Park Road.
So that is basically part one. There's another part to this as well. There is part two here, which I'll just press briefly.
Other than my world fell apart, I was confused and in shock.
So the next part of this one
actually wasn't sure what I was doing.
is going to be this one.
It was that confusion which, according to Jenkins, caused him to repeatedly change his account of his movements just before Billie Joe's death.
So in the next part of this video, he retracts everything he's just said. So if you'd like me to cover part two, where it all comes to a dramatic conclusion at the end, hit like on this, leave me a comment, and if I get enough likes, I will cover part two, and then we'll see what happens, and I'll give you my final verdict. But if I get enough likes on this, I get enough feedback, I shall do it with pleasure. So, hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. So, from everyone here, take care, and bye for now.